Wanna see you with it, sure could treat you right. Give me just a minute of your time tonight. We both are here to have fun, so let it happen.
We are shooting / wrapping up Mr. Johnson's car. He's been a very good customer of ours over the course of the last almost 3 years now. We've done all of the work exclusively to this outside of the interior and paint work. And it's finally coming to a close. You know, we got a rebuilt engine in this thing. It's got the ProtunerZ intake and then the intake tube that we built. I think the header is a California Datsun header. It's got our GRW Meagsquirt 2 kit with the LS2 multi-coil spark ignition package. I just finished tuning it up today. It's pretty much, the tune is finalized. Got a MagnaFlow exhaust. He's on 4G autos. He had them custom ordered for this car. Initially, he put a skillered diffuser on it, but he didn't really like the way it looked, so we took it back off for him. The interior has been totally restored. The exterior, complete new paint job. And so the last of it was the mechanicals. So Mr. Johnson has been a customer of ours long enough that we have actually seen several iterations of this vehicle. And the latest one is the fresh engine build. He brought us a California Datsun header and he brought us a ProtunerZ intake. We initially tried to get all this stuff working with the factory fuel injection and it just wasn't happening. We were having to add a ton of extra fuel from the airflow meter and it just was not, it was really lazy, it just wasn't responding. I'm sure other people have gotten it to work with a factory EFI, but this part is not meant for factory EFI cars. You lose all of the cold idle stuff up top. You lose the step-up vacuum solenoid for when the air conditioning compressor is on. You lose a lot of the factory function. So yeah, you could probably Band-Aid it to work, but the right way is to put a standalone ECU that's tunable. So we finally broke down and did our Meagsquirt 2 kit with a drop-in crank angle sensor. We recently switched to laser engraving, which we're really happy with. I'll plug a link in the description below to Built By Bryan. That's the name of the company that does our laser engraving. And it's actually a good customer of ours, Brian, who we built his VG30 twin turbo engine 2 summers ago, which is a tribute car for his late son. So check out that build. I've got a link in the description below for that. So the final iteration of Mr. Johnson's included. We found a nice metallic green powder coat that was a pretty close match to the color of the vehicle itself. It's a little bit darker, but you know, it's really hard to find a nice metallic color that's close to, you know, paint. So we got that in. You know, we powder coated everything we could to make it look good under the hood. We did all speed HUD gauges on the inside of the car. We ended up converting him to a single electric fan. We bought the highest CFM 16-inch spowl fan that we could, and it's keeping that coil rad radiator nice and cool. At the time, we weren't originally going to go with a standalone ECU, so we never really explored the idea of doing a higher compression set of pistons or an aftermarket cam or any of that stuff, because initially, we weren't even putting the ProtunerZ intake on. He brought it to us later, and that kind of changed the aspect of the build, but we had already moved forward with machining and sourcing all the parts that we did. So, internally, the motor is OE spec, with the exception of it has ARP rod bolts, and it has ARP head studs. And all of our engines, whether it's OE spec or performance, at the bare minimum, you get ARP upgraded rod bolts. We used to just reuse the factory rod bolts, but we had one motor that actually it had the cap stretcher, we think it did, and it was on Kevin's car. So we changed our internal process, and we never, ever again reuse factory rod bolts. So you get ARP rod bolts, or we don't rebuild it. Now there is, at the time of filming this, there is what I understand is a recall on the ProtunerZ throttle body. This thing whistles and squeaks like hell. And we've tried a few different things. We tried chamfering a few different holes, and it kind of alleviated it at idle, but off idle, it whistles terribly. I mean, it is a nuisance. And so I had Mr. Johnson reach out to ProtunerZ, and I don't know if they're going to send him a revised throttle body assembly or if they're just going to send us a seal. Supposedly the seal behind either here on the sensor or there's a bearing back here or over here. I don't remember which one, but one of them was assembled wrong. And so it squeaks. It whistles really, really bad. So, you know, the customer supplied the intake manifold. We're not in the loop on that. All we can do is just feed information to the customer. We're waiting to hear for a resolution on that, whether we're going to just get sent a new seal or if they're going to send the customer a new throttle body. But it was some, you know, manufacturing error wherever these things are made. Probably Alibaba, if I had to guess. Anyways, still a gorgeous piece. One other thing that we ran into is these OE spec injectors. We had to double space all of the O-rings for where they seal against the manifold, because this flange is technically meant for EV6 style O-ring injectors that seal against the inner diameter of the bore, where factory injectors have a flat seal that actually seal against the face of the flange, and we couldn't get the height down far enough, so we ended up double stacking O-rings so we get enough compression when you bolt the rail down, and that fixed that. When you're ordering these setups, check these two O-rings. These were dry rotten, and so we just replaced them right out of the kit. We didn't want a chance, you know, potential fuel leak there. So just keep that in mind if you're running OE style injectors. I would not advise anybody run this intake manifold on a factory EFI system. It's just too troublesome. You're going to be pulling your hair out trying to get everything adjusted properly. Just do it right. Do either one of our standalone kits, or you can buy one from ProtunerZ. They sell a competing kit. They did a really, really good job on this interior, and for what they charged him, the price matches the quality of work. Really about the only thing he could use is a restoration dash, vintage dash. We ended up putting an S30 World fuel tank in this. It's got a Walbro pump. He'd had the tank professionally cleaned like 2 years ago, but they didn't do a proper job because it started breaking down on the inside and clogged up the fuel system. You know, it was tuning really good for a few days, and all of a sudden it started adding a ton of fuel up top. You know, that's when we realized that we have a fuel system rust issue, so we fixed all that. But with the ProtunerZ intake, I can show you on the fuel VE map how much more fuel we have to feed this engine for this intake manifold versus a factory intake, because I've got an OEM NA setup that I just finished tuning, very similar engine structure, same compression, same fuel flow rate with the injectors, all that, versus this one. And this one requires definitely more fuel to account for the amount of air entering the engine. Alright, we're getting Mr. Johnson's wrapped up, and we did a vintage air system this visit. This visit also consisted of the 100-mile checkup. We drained the oil, cut the filter open, inspected it. Actually, this was the 500-mile checkup. You know, just verify our work with the engine build. All looks good there. We warrantied the powder coating on the valve cover, the one that was on the car. I guess it had some corrosion built up on the aluminum. Even though we cleaned it as best we could, it had a weird reaction, and it started flaking away real bad, so we replaced that for him. I just powder coated it, or I had Christian powder coat another valve cover. Now, you may remember that we talked about the hellacious whistling noise that this ProtunerZ throttle body made. Now, just for a quick recap, ProtunerZ sent out a quote-unquote fix kit that replaced the seal behind the throttle position sensor. That didn't fix it. We felt the only option really was to just get another throttle body. If supposedly he had some revised throttle bodies, so he eventually got ProtunerZ to send him another throttle body. He installed that, and the whistle was still there. So, from what the customer told me, I think he said that at that point they were really hard to get a hold of for a solution, and he never really got made whole. Again, just disclaimer, I'm just telling you guys what the customer told me. I don't have an official opinion on this matter because it's not my business. But what the customer ended up doing is, inside this throttle body, there's a PCV port and a idle air control valve port, and we tried radiusing those and giving it something of a chamfer to alleviate some of that whistling noise, and it alleviated some of it, but it changed the tone, and it also changed where it would come in. So he ended up filling that with epoxy, which is something that got brought up in conversation with the car was originally with us, but we didn't want to do that because what'll happen, or what could happen, we hope it doesn't, but if that epoxy ever breaks loose, it gets ingested by the engine, and then now you just bent a valve or punched a hole in the piston or whatever. And so, since that was a potential failure point, you know, we can't stand behind that type of repair. So it wasn't on the table for us, but you know, customer chose to do that on his own accord. You know, that's his choice. But it fixed his whistle, so the car doesn't whistle anymore. We'll go over to the passenger side. So for any of y'all that are going to be doing these vintage air systems, just keep in mind, window tint really helps these cars. This hot black dash will absorb heat. It's been 100-something degrees every day this week. The system is working as efficiently as it can. If you hold your hands over the vent, ice cold, ice cold, ice cold. But you get about here and you start to get all this UV and heat coming into the cabin, which doesn't help. And you know, these factory vents are okay, but they don't flow air like a normal or like a new vehicle. So just keep that in mind so you have realistic expectations of what to expect, especially in super hot climates. But I guarantee you, you get down to about 90 degrees, this system will freeze you out. So what I would recommend if you're going to be doing these systems is get UV tint for the front that has like 90-something% heat rejection properties. Same with the ceramic tint on the side and the rear windows. This is a giant fishbowl. Anything that you can do to alleviate the amount of heat and UV rays entering the cabin is really going to help cool this cabin off. Mr. Johnson is ready for pickup yet again. Another happy customer. And now he won't be sweating or freezing in his Datsun.